And if we create consistency and we create order in their lives, they will always achieve, and they will always do better than what other people expect. And Cleveland's children will do exceptionally well because they have to overcome more challenges in their life.
Thanks, Mr. Jackson. Ms. Gore.
I think one of the things we have when we're talking about troubled youth, we have a partnership. We have to create a partnership with the community, your parents, me, the administration, and the school system. You have to be confident that when you are going to school, you're going to be protected, you're going to be in an environment where you can learn, and you're going to be safe. But more important, we have to have sports and athletics and things that you can participate in, music, that you feel comfortable so you can flourish. Without those things, and you've seen that probably in your school system where you don't have those things and you don't have that particular situation where you are safe. We're going to change that when I become mayor. You have my word.
Ms. Brown.
Let's just go a tad bit deeper. Let's talk about trauma that young people endure. When you talk about young people who are at risk, you're talking about parents who are stressed. Under the Brown administration, we will focus on the circle of care, which simply means this: every single aspect of every single being, of every single department of the city, in the business community, in the neighborhoods, will be responsible for our children. And we do that by knowing who they are in the community, what their needs are, and how we can best support them. So what we'll do, we'll meet them at their level, support them where they are, and strive to get them where they need to be. This is what we'll do for at-risk youth. Thank you.
Thanks. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for audience questions. And it's time for the closing portion, which is a question that I'm going to ask the candidates. And each candidate will have a total of 2 minutes to respond. The candidates will respond in reverse order to the opening. So Mr. Kylo will begin. And my question is this. I'd like you to think about which leader you most admire. And that could be a political leader. It could be a philosopher or a writer. But a person that you consider a leader. What leader do you admire? And what insight does that give us, or what insight should that give us into the kind of leader you are and would hope to be? And we'll begin with Mr. Kylo.
It's a great question, and I appreciate it. And I'm a very transparent guy, so I'm just going to get right to the heart of the matter. Jesus Christ. He's the Son of God. He's the greatest servant of all time, and he loves humanity. And I know I'm already getting a lot of backlash for that, and how is that going to impact me as the mayor of the city? But you know what? Faith without works is dead. And I can't just leave my faith at the door as a civil servant for this great city. But let me tell you, and I answered this to Tom Barris on Channel 3, and I'll answer it to all of you now. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to cast stones at anybody. I'm here to unite people under a common vision. And I believe Jesus was the ultimate servant and ultimate lover of humanity that's ever walked on the face of the earth. And what you'd see in a Kylo administration is someone who's reaching higher and lifting people up, because his faith is not here to preach you in words, but in actions. I want to show that this is a time where we collectively come together under a cause that's bigger than any one person. So the leader that I would most emulate is Jesus Christ, I hope, God willing. But nonetheless, I think he's the standard that is above all, and it's really a matter of holding ourselves accountable to him. So I know I'm going to get some backlash about church and state and things like that. I want to make a point about that, too. The United States Constitution is very clear that there's freedom of religion and freedom of speech in this great country. And I think if we all have an opportunity to be real with one another and get off this false guise of hidden secrets and stuff, and we could just be the people that God's called us to be, then I really think you can start seeing things click. Then I think we stop judging one another. Then I think we unite under a common banner. And you know what? I want to see the city of Cleveland become the city it's supposed to be. And I really believe everyone's tried their best, so it's not to blame anybody. But I believe if we put the bar high enough, I can think of no greater bar than Jesus, because again, he serves humanity. He's a lover of humanity, and he laid down his life for the betterment of a community and for a world, and I'd like to do the same for Cleveland.
Thanks. And Mr. Jackson, you have 2 minutes.
Well, I can't point out one person, but I can maybe describe what that is. In many cases, it's similar to what Mr. Kylo has said. I believe that the kind of leader, not just in Cleveland, but what the world needs, is one that has a purpose other than themselves. That when they come to the game, they come to the game not for personal gains or ambition, but come there for a purpose. And that purpose is to make the lives of people better, to improve quality of life and to improve standard of living. And I think that there are things that you have to do to ensure that. And I will start with education, because the greatest deterrent to street level crime and the greatest opportunity people will have is quality education. I will then move into economic development, because I know that we as a city and we as a people in a community will not thrive until we tie in to a global economic market, until we're able to create quality education and a great prosperity where people have an opportunity. But in that opportunity, there has to be complete access to everyone. No group can be left out. And we cannot build an economy and a society based on the exploitation of individuals or situations. We have to build a society, economy, and a society based on how we serve people and how we provide those basic needs in order to ensure that quality of life and that standard of living. And you know what? There's a practical side to this, and that's what I do every day. I just don't talk it, I do it. I do the practical things you need to do every day to accomplish everything that I've just mentioned to you. And that's all I do all day long.
Thanks, Mr. Jackson. Just to remind the question again, Ms. Gore, is which leader do you most admire?
There are two. Barack Obama, because he made me believe again. He made me believe that we could change, and there was a new direction aside from the past political games that were played. The deception was not going to be the rule of thumb any longer in politics. We were going to have a new day, and we could all look forward to that change with hope. And my 23-year-old son, Lauren Gore, First Lieutenant, Airborne Ranger, because not only does he believe he's putting his life on the line to protect ours, every serviceman, every military man that has served and is currently serving, they are my leaders because they're willing to die for what we have here. So I have two leaders. Barack Obama, because he told us there was hope and there was change. And my son, because he's willing to die for that hope and that change. Thank you.
And Ms. Brown, please.
Well, my answer would be 1 million and plus single women who raise their families. But my biggest leader, she's no Oprah Winfrey. She doesn't have that status quo. But my mother's here today, Dorothy Brown. My mother is the greatest woman alive, and I'm quite sure a lot of you, hopefully you feel the same about your mother. You see, because we came from New York City, and we came when we were very young because my father was abusive to my mother. But what my mother taught the ladies in our families was this: